I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the bronze medal match of the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship 2024 between Team Hungary and Team UK. And with me is a special and, of course, very unbiased guest, the 2022 World Champion and former captain of Team Romania, Arpad Gere, also known with the screen name Girappo on Board Game Arena. Hi, Arpad.
Hello, Alexei, and hello everyone who's watching the stream.
Just question up front. Will you be rooting for your neighbors today?
Yes, of course. I live in Romania and I'm part of the Romanian team, but after my nationality, I'm Hungarian, so I cannot say that I'm unbiased. So I will rooting for the Hungarian team, especially because I know many of the players from the Hungarian team. But I hope that first and foremost that it will be a nice match. I would love to see a 3-2 victory, and it's interesting that it has a big stake this match because if I remember correctly, the third placed team will get an extra slot for the SN Championship, right?
Yes, exactly. This is the case. Just a reminder for all of our viewers that in addition to Pride and Glory and some board games and some commemorative prizes, the most tangible part of the prize is that the top three teams in the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship get to send one extra player to the in-person World Carcassonne Championship that's going to happen in October in Herne, Germany. And this is a change from last year where the top four teams had that privilege of sending the extra player. So now it's only between Hungary and the United Kingdom. And when it comes to that regard, well, it's a bit more fair or logical to root for Hungary because the United Kingdom have already two spots because the reigning world champion is Matt Tucker of the UK. So the reigning world champion gets to participate again. And there is a national champion who actually can't come, but the second place finisher, Van Guy Lim, is going to come. So they already have two spots, and the third spot will now be quite the accomplishment for the United Kingdom. Whereas for Hungary, this is completely the Cinderella story of the championship. Even though they have several strong players, they had always quite a tough history with the championships, and this is the first year where they even qualified for the playoffs. And look at their playoff journey, especially at the start, defeating Czechia 3-2. And a reminder that Czechia won all 5 preliminary rounds only to lose to Hungary. Well, the semifinal was a bit rough against Japan, but a heavy loss is the same thing as a narrow loss in the playoffs. So there was the dramatic show-off between United Kingdom and France, which came down to the wire between Statmat and Squalus. Statmat apparently still reeling from his loss in the semifinal duel, and because he's not on the lineup today. Well, I'm sure there can be some practical reasons for that. But who is on the lineup? And this is something I'm going to talk about a little bit. So a little bit preview. Table 1, Hungary Kissimo versus Olu Cake of the UK. Well, we did feature the player with this appetizing screen name in the semifinals quite a lot, so we won't be starting with looking at table number 1. Overall, even matchup rating-wise, I would say that maybe the British player has his own unique style, his creativity, his precision. I would probably put my money on Olu Cake, but it has to be very narrow. Table 2, Cinderella. What an apt screen name for somebody in Team Hungary. Based on their championship, they're playing against 2018 UK champion Jack Fowler with the spectacular screen name Jackface. And that one, I'm going to say, is an even matchup. Maybe Jack has actually gotten quite experienced recently, so I would probably still favor them. And on table 3, this is the real deal. This is the duel that we've all been waiting for. The strongest Hungarian player, rated above 800 at some point, Josef Tihon, with the screen name Siegfried, is playing against the 2022 Mind Sports Olympiad gold medalist Nick Basti with the screen name Ever Ever Ever. And we will follow this match at some point. Although prior to the start of the championship, Arpad and I had agreed that we would probably leave this for dessert, and we're going to start on either table number 4, which I would say is the most even matchup between Ruben Kocic with the screen name Mosopal and the 2022 national UK champion Chris Wallace with the screen name Wallace Prime. And at some point, also table 5, I would say completely evenly matched between Varga Chila Valic and the player with the screen name Lazy Boar of the United Kingdom. So I am inclined to start with table number 4 simply because we haven't featured either of the players in the championship just yet. And but after that, we're going to follow your lead, my dear viewers. If you have any particular duel that you want to watch, do let us know in the chat. Hi Ivan, hi Pichan, hi Divaka. Remember to meeple that like button so that more people find out about this wonderful championship. Also, do let us know who you are going to root for. And who do you think is going to win? Hopefully that my viewers will be equally divided. So I've opened the game. Hopefully you can see that, Arpad, as well.
Yes.
And we have already a few tiles played and some points on the board. Wally playing with his traditional yellow meeples. Ruben playing with the blue meeples has 7 extra rating points, although that of course doesn't mean nothing. The thing that does mean is the 2 extra points that he has on the scoreboard. Drops a farmer, has a monastery, a blocked city, so the position is still young. So Arpad, how do you make sense of this position? Who do you prefer to be here, and who do you think has the advantage?
Okay, so especially now with the second monastery, I think that Moshopal has the advantage. I didn't quite like that move when he finished the road. I would rather went on the top city cap and place a farmer. So with a straight road, he could get 3 points and join the field. And that would have been a better choice in my opinion. And it's as you can see that he's already blocked there, which is not nice. But the 2 extra monasteries, it's nice compensation.
Yeah, extra monastery, extra points on the scoreboard, and like even the blocked meeple, it's not that bad. It still has room for expansion, like tiles over here, tiles over here. It is partially restricted, but at least for now, on this side you can put city plus road tiles, and on this tiles you can side you can put city plus field tiles. So eventually this city could be like around extra 8 points maybe. So not quite a worthwhile investment, but an acceptable investment for this meeple. But now Mosopal draws a tile which will make his advantage, I think, almost indecent, with 3 wonderful monastery spots, and he just needs to decide whether to take the 7-point spot. He chooses to take the 5-point monastery spot in a way that stacks the monasteries. That is known as the most efficient way to build around, and he's also pre-building this 3-point road next to his other monastery, which he now claimed. Let's see if he meeples it. It's actually going to be interesting to see how aggressive this Hungarian player. Arpad, what do you do here? Do you leave this road alone, or do you place a meeple there as the play with the blue meeples?
I would leave it alone, because with a curve, Wallace Prime could block both of the meeples, and with only a 4-point road is not a great trade-off, especially because the ring can grow much larger. So yeah, but it's all it. I mean, it would be okay also with the meeple place on it, but I guess that Wallace is gonna meeple it right now.
Well, yeah, it certainly makes sense. But even if Wally meeples it, he's giving an extra points to Mosopol's monastery, who now attacks a Wally city on the left, and now he's hoping to get a Dorito tile, perhaps, to finish off his monastery. But now, actually, Wallace Prime can bank on continuing to influence his meeple advantage, because now, once these cities are effectively shared, then by starting a new city here on the left, he could exert some pressure on the square next to Blue's monastery, aiming to block it completely. Oh, but look at this. It's an interesting way how he's doing that. He's actually aiming for a hybrid move, not trying to block the square necessarily, but trying to maybe attack the ruin. And the idea is that if Mosopol gets his desired Dorito and puts it over here, then suddenly yellow will be able to sneak in into this big city and start building it. And if yellow gets a city plus road tile, then of course yellow will be happy to block off this square. But the question now, do you finish the city here as yellow, or do you try to do something else perhaps?
I wouldn't finish the city because I mean, the only way that Moshopa comes out better from this situation is if he gets a vanilla city cap and manages to finish his monastery that way. But 4 of them is already out, so yeah, I mean it's okay, but that farmer could be stranded there.
Yeah, so
If
it's
the last
Mhm.
if the last vanilla city cap comes to Moshopal and he doesn't finish his city, I mean his monastery, then yeah, that farmer has to come around. So if you put triple city tile there, it's next to the farmer, it could be blocked.
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation. So it really, obviously, there's only one tile that's left into this square, and it really depends on the timing of who gets it and when. Because imagine, like, if Mosopol gets this early, then he's kind of forced to finish his monastery because, like, theoretically, yellow could sneak around into the farm right there. But if, as you say, he first of all maybe draws a cow tile, he can start building barricades over here, and then if he draws the vanilla city cap, then he's probably happy to leave his monastery with 8 points as long as yellow doesn't sneak in into the farm. So a lot in this game will depend on timing. But the same is true for the player with the yellow meeples. Like, if yellow draws the vanilla city cap immediately, of course yellow's not going to go over here. Yellow's going to go over here instead, start a new city, and try to connect that way, leaving this monastery meeple stranded. So it's a very, very, we're going to have like a game of chicken over here. On the other hand, if blue builds the barricades first with a cow tile, then of course yellow will have to give blue a meeple back just to yellow will have to give blue a meeple back just to enter the field. So it's a very interesting situation. We see that Mosopol got his meeple back, but was not able to meeple his monastery because his last meeple was preoccupied with a city. But his other meeple is now he got a meeple back from this monastery, but now he's having problems over here because Wally decided to sacrifice a couple of points and try blocking Mosopol's city. Of course, most importantly, preventing Mosopol from drawing a city cap and dropping a farmer over here. So this is a very annoying move to deal with. It is completely possible to finish the city just yet, but it's not a given, and it could take some time. Mosopol continues the city. It's now worth up to 10 points. Only 2 city caps separate blue from his current situation and having a lot of points on the scoreboard, because if the city gets completed, it's going to be worth at least 16 points, if not more. Wally with a splitter tile. Presumably he could go over here and try to connect into the field, or he could go over here and try to exert some pressure on on Blue's monastery, which seemed to have been the purpose of this move. So Arpa, what would you do here as yellow with this splitter tile?
To be honest, I would go as you initially suggested, next to the farmer, to make sure that that farmer can join even if the monastery will not be finished with the vanilla city cap. Because if Mosho Park manages to put a cow tile there next to it, then the only way that farmer gets is if Wallis draws the vanilla city cap and finishes Moshopal's monastery, which is not ideal. So, and to be honest, I was surprised that I'm
yeah, I have to agree with you here, Arpad. I think we just witnessed a misstep. Of course, this tile had to go under one square under, so that yellow can fight for it. I think yellow's idea was super ambitious. Yellow wanted to block this square, but then like blocking this square is not super important because blue can connect to the city up top. So maybe yellow wants to block this square and then block this square, but it would be worth so much effort and so many tiles than the gain from these sort of blocking attacks won't really be that significant. Well, now that I think about this, Wally still has some things that he can do. Maybe he can finish this city and get a vanilla city cap and go here, and now sneak this guy into the field all the way around. But the question is, why go through the extra effort if you can just win normally? So we can see how Wally starts a new city on the left, at the same time almost blocking Blue's monastery. There's only one tile remaining that fits into this square, so not very likely that Moshopal will be finishing his 8-point monastery soon enough. Instead, he draws a starting tile and puts himself one tile away from completion. Interestingly, Wally does not even bother attacking this city, so this is still wide open, and with any city cap, I believe Ruben is going to enjoy his life very much. Now he's having a straight line. No obvious place to put this. Decides to simply discard this, although it's not a simple discard. It actually does quite a lot of things. It does make a blocking attack on the city slightly harder. It also sets up a field connection in the future, so somebody, maybe Blue, could drop a farmer here and connect into the field. Oh, look at this greedy Ruben, not finishing this city, still hoping to get a normal city cap, and uses the last dagger tile to finish his monastery and get 4 extra points for his city, plus 12 points on the scoreboard. Extra monastery, extra city, which is about to completion, get completed, and even a temporary meeple advantage somehow. Blue is in excellent position, could now meeple this 6-point road potentially like this, exert some pressure on Wally's city over here. Ruben has a lot of options in this position.
Yes, I agree. And I think I have a feeling why Wallace did put the splitter the way he did. And that's probably because he counts on taking the field later on and have the big field and also a smaller field with 3 cities. And because if someone will be in meeple problem, that probably will be Moshopal, because he has he got a bit lucky with the left-hand dagger and got back his meeple from the monastery. But the other monastery also is a 50-50 to finish it, and he has also a blocked meeple on the ruin. So yeah, I think that maybe that's what Wallace was counting on, that even if he doesn't can't join that farmer from with a simple city cap, maybe he can take the farm later on with the extra meeples.
This must have been Wally's intention. So he's probably plans on attacking the field somehow, even though there's not a particular way to do this at the moment. That must be something that he's banking on. Ruben starting a new 6-point road as suggested. I would have probably preferred the other placement with the curve facing down, so that there would be more of an attack on Wally's city. No, not that it mattered that much, as Wally gets an extender tile preparing to finish 6-point city, and actually after Blue completes his road, there will be more entry points into that field, I presume. Blue now tries to break Red City, Yellow City, by adding a couple of points to him, but at the same time making it a bit harder to complete. And Blue wins the coin flip, does not finish his monastery, of course, in order not to let Wally into his field, but instead finishes a lucrative 16-point city. And with that, I think the game is almost sealed. I mean, it is possible to do something maybe, but life will be so hard for Wally, because even winning the field might not be enough for him, as he loses one more meeple. So there's a very nice find here from the Hungarian player, adding an extra point to Yellow City, but making sure that this tile never comes back, this meeple never comes back, because there are no tiles that are left to fit into this square at all. All of these dagger tiles have been used up in different places on the board, and this little guy is stranded with only 4 points, whilst Wally needs at least 19 points to overcome the scoreboard deficit, and he will need to develop this field to 9 points, because now this poor little guy is isolated, and then with his 1 of the 2 remaining meeples, as you said, Arpad, before, he will need to maybe go over here, for example, and drop a farmer and try to connect into the field through a curve. But now that Ruben is thinking with a straight line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's still one more straight line that fits into this square. So I'm wondering if the Hungarian player is entertaining the quite a courageous idea of dropping his last meeple and on a 3-point field for a 50-50 chance to connect into the field, only to hope for either to get the 50-50 chance or simply occupy a potential fields connection square. Puzzling move here from Mosopol. It looks like it's trying to block Wally's city, but Wally's city is already blocked, so none of it really matters. And what this move does, it's actually only endangers Blue's road, and also sets up a fields connection for either of the players to try and attack the field. So actually, in theory, Wally could attack the field now, which is what he does. I see your facial expression suggests disapproval, Arpad.
Yeah, I mean, that attack for the field attack was very nice, and Ruben also got a bit lucky because he drew the last remaining right-hand dagger immediately, so he got back his.
No, there's one more. There's one more. Yeah.
1, 2. Okay, I miscounted then.
Yeah, but still, like, the timing's pretty lucky. So I still very much like the move by Wally. It was a great idea because, like, even though there was a 75% of Moshapal getting his meeple back, it was supposed to be a massive delay. Actually, yeah, he was supposed to get that tile, like, well, after quite a while, but. Well, he doesn't get to complain about his tile draws, and now drops yet another farmer trying to connect through one of the curves, and he succeeds in doing so. So the farm is tied again. Should probably now meeple this road for insurance. Yeah, I would have meepled this road, even though it's only 5 points. There's a decent chance of drawing another curve to complete this. There's still a couple of other curves. And even though this road is blockable in one move, no, Wally, don't do this, don't miscount, no. I told you, don't do this. You see, it looks like a brilliant move because, look at this. This guy wants to enter into the field with a straight line, but there are no straight lines remaining in the deck. All 8 straight lines have been used up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And even though miscounts are sometimes understandable, but in a match with such a high stakes, with 2.5 meeples on the clock, it seems like quite poor time management from the former British national champion, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, he has one meeple which he can get back, but even if he gets back that meeple, the point advantage on the board, I mean, almost 30 points. Yeah, it's I don't see a coming back from this.
Exactly, yeah. Well, it will be a showcase of like what Ruben wants to do, right? So he could go for a normal approach just to maximize his win percentage, but he goes for the style points. He wants to get another farmer onto the field, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's still one curve that goes over here, but there's still a bunch of other tiles that go over here, such as this one, which he just drew.
Immediately.
So yeah, immediately, just like. And even though it's not like crazy luck, it's not, but the timing of the tiles is so demoralizing to the opposing player. Let's see if he manages to mentally recover after this, as Wally finally gets a meeple back. Mosopol presumably going to take the 4 quick points lying around over here. And now it's the play with the blue meeples, who has a 3 versus 2 majority on the field. And all but one of Yellow's meeples are blocked, so the best thing that Yellow can do for himself is equalize the field, and even that is kind of hard to do. Okay, so Ruben is thinking, which makes me think that maybe he's not going to take these 4 points, but instead going to go for style points. Maybe like go over here and try to get a 4 farmer into the field just to completely discourage Yellow from doing anything remotely productive in this game.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's he can do whatever he wants, because I mean, even if he tries to put a 4th farmer to join the big farm, and he doesn't manages. Best case scenario for Wallis is that he equalizes the farm, and that wouldn't be enough for him. So yeah, but why not just get the 3 points? Yeah. Empty city caps, just take the 4 points, and yeah, I mean, maybe as a psychological warfare you can do that, but I prefer the other way. So let's just be as efficient as possible. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just finally the Hungarian is making a normal human move, does not try to humiliate his opponents, simply scoring points. Wally now will probably have to go into the field to reduce the score difference. So it's an interesting thing, like what you do psychologically in the game which are already won or already lost. And one approach is to simply relax and like not think about this too hard. But the other approach is to, use this as a practice opportunity to exercise your endgame skills. Maybe now we could count up the tiles, count up the points, and calculate which moves gives it the biggest winning not winning probability, but the chances of decreasing the score difference by as many points as possible. So of course a possible solution is to go over here, draw up a farmer, and then wait for the one remaining curve, for example, to go over here, because a reminder that there are no straight lines remaining, and there are no starting tiles remaining, and there are no T-shaped crossroads remaining, so there's only really one opportunity to draw a road tile, which is quite interesting actually, but it would be certainly a move that makes sense. Well, the British player is going to make their decision in under 140 minutes. In the meantime, hi Concord, hi Wisemaze, hi Crafty. Thank you, Wisemaze, for confirming that Cinderella 23 very aptly named player has won against Jacques Fuss, and Hungary is on the scoreboard with a first little point. Maybe putting them closer to the most desired third place. Well, Mousapal draws the last remaining curve and scores 6 points for the road just to rub it in, and Wally was not even going to bother thinking, just taking 2 quick points. No real opportunity to do anything about this. Mousapal takes a 6-point ruin, which is a bit imprecise. Should have taken a 6-point field instead, simply so that Wally would not be able to take this. So 1 point loss for Mousapal compared to the optimal sequence. Not the worst turn of events, because remember, 30 extra points on the scoreboard and the field. This is the advantage of the player with the blue meeple. So in a few seconds we're going to see what the score difference was. In the meantime, Arpad, do you prefer to follow these players or look at somebody else?
I mean, we can watch the next game for because they played pretty fast. Or maybe if the viewers want to see another match, maybe we can ask them.
So you're fine with either, do I understand correctly?
Yes.
Look at this, plus 48 victory. So this is quite the blow for the British player. Let's see if they recover this. So let's see, GG. Oh, they're doing a post-mortem in the chat. That's very nice when players do this. So he's saying that meeple on the downfield next to the road. Oh yeah, so he was talking about when Wally basically self-blocked himself. So this farmer, normally very nice tactic, but in this particular game there were already no tiles that were left to fit into the square. So that's just quite the usual tile counting blunder, which we do sometimes see. Well, you think about it positively. It just proves that the play with the yellow meeples wasn't cheating.
Yeah, yeah, but on the other hand,
Look at this. He said the exact same thing just as he was said this. Or check this out. Maybe he was cheating. Maybe he was using an app, and he realized that this game was already lost. So in order to divert suspicion from himself, like he just makes a couple of blatant tile counting mistakes, and only to later. Oh, I know. Like I know Chris very well. He would be the last players to use an app or an AI. I think he would he would obviously just being cheeky over here, as we both are. All right, well, they are saying that they're ready for a rematch, so we will be following Ruben Kocic against Chris Wallace of the United Kingdom.
In hindsight, I mean, I don't think that was the biggest mistake, because at that point, even if he manages to equalize the farm, it would have been a loss. But maybe in the beginning, when he drew the splitter and decided to put it in that way, that he ended up with a 6-point field with that farmer, that was a much bigger mistake in my opinion.
I completely agree. I think there was a move which was a little bit too ambitious. At that point in the game, Ruben's lead on the scoreboard was not that significant. Ruben still had some troubles with meeple management, and probably Wally could have try to win by a simple farming majority without necessarily being fancy. But hey, it was a creative idea. It just did not pay off in the particular instance. So he has all the chances in this game, as here he has again the yellow meeples, and this time the starting player advantage. He gets the first city piece. Mousapal responds with my favorite response of creating a couple of attacking platforms against Yellow City, Yellow getting an extender, prolonging it, and the Hungarian decides, you know what, it is time to invade, otherwise the city would be getting out of control. Wally was one city cap away from securing this city, so he decided to invade it. Immediately Wally gets a road tile, now starts attacking this connection square, hoping to end up with a larger city, and maybe blocking the square later and leaving Mosopal's meeple stranded with just 1 point. A multi-purpose move, as he's also meeples a 2-point road in the process, and now he's continuing the blocking attack. It comes with a meeple, so sort of in some scenarios, yellow does get a Dorito tile and maybe wants to put a triple city with a road tile over here to create a bigger ruin or even a completable city. But most of the time, the aim of the play with the yellow meeples will be to draw maybe like a regular city cap or something like this and simply block this connection square.
Yeah, I agree, but maybe it would be even better if he manages to um, to take that city, big city, because it's not guaranteed that the other ruin would grow much larger. So even if it's a winning mini battle with +3 points, if it doesn't manages to grow that ruin, maybe it would be better to take the whole ruin and make a big city out of it. Yeah, and I quite like this move from Ruben, not trying to defend that at the attacking spot, but just go the other way, and this way he can attack both from both sides, that big ruin or big city. Let's see what we end up there.
Well, the best defense is offense, and this is exactly what the Hungarian player does. So realizing that actually the advantage that yellow is going to get is, as you say, Arpad, is going to be pretty marginal. Well, and he can get this advantage now if he wants, but it seems to me that there is something more crucial, like this sensitive square that is waiting coverage, and in order to get 4 points, actually Wally forewent a tile which would have sort of solved the sensitivity of this square. I have to agree with him. I do like scoring 4 points. I do like scoring points in general in the opening and being very aggressive. I think Arpad, you also have quite an aggressive style of play in the opening in general, but now as Wally, what do you do first? Do you solve the sensitivity of this square? Do you get the winning mini battle and complete the block, or do you ignore everything whatsoever and simply want to start a new city somewhere else? So do you agree with yellow's move over here?
Yeah, I guess that's a good move. I mean, if in worst case scenario, Ruben manages to draw Dorito with road, and but even if that happens, Wallace would have good chances to finish the other cities. So I think that's okay. That was.
So all three of us, Wally, myself, and Arpad, seem to be on the same page, as Mosopal, despite having 0 points on the scoreboard, has actually, I think, quite a good position, having drawn the first monastery. He who draws the first monastery has the opening advantage, said a famous compatriot of Arpad at some point, and it also controls an extra road and it controls yellow's road, so that's all very nice. Blue's here starting a blocking attack, quite an unpleasant blocking attack against Wally, who will probably, he might go here to defend, or he might go here to defend as well, so it's not obvious which route he's going to choose. He might also go over here to start restricting Mosopol City like this. We can see that there are multiple sensitive spots where, players are waiting for a city plus road tile of a certain kind to resolve their precariously placed meeples, and this is the prioritization of Wally. He chooses to attack this city first. He chooses to attack his opponent's city instead of protecting his own. So very aggressive blocking approach from Chris here. Ruben now gets a Dorito tile, and this will also show what kind of player he is. So the idea that he could have, the initial idea, he can continue his blocking attack. But actually what this will accomplish is that it will leave 3 tiles, 3 left-handed daggers that fit into this square, So Wally's still going to have all the opportunities to finish his city and get 8 points, except that it will be somewhat an inconvenience for the player with the yellow meeples. But maybe Ruben has another move. Maybe instead he just wants to equalize everything and connect to the city. Let's see which approach he chooses. Well, thank you, Wisemace, for confirming that not only is Hungary sweeping across the board for now, Kissima won on table 1, Varga Chilla won on table 5, and now the player with the lovely screen name Cinderella23, completely descriptive of Team Hungary, is now putting Hungary on the match scoreboard by winning their second duel against Jacques Fuss. So probably a case of Jack playing a little bit too fast there, I guess, since they had already managed to finish both of their games in just over half an hour. Well, so Mosopal goes for the move that I was expecting, but Chris immediately gets the dagger tile that fits into that square. Now only one tile away from getting his meeple back. Ruben now starting a new city of himself. Now Wally almost completely secured this city. It is very likely to be completed for 12 points, and it seems to me that Ruben has given up on attacking his city. Instead, he wants to start building his own stuff. Now, Wally has a splitter tile, which could go for both places. He could either finish this city and start a new one and occupy this city cap, or he could go over here and leave the city cap empty with the idea of drawing a triangle tile or a big tile and creating a situation where Mosopal would not be able to retrieve his meeple at all. But even if Ruben gets his meeple back, I mean, already he's set back 15 points on the scoreboard. Now he's thinking whether it's worth taking these 4 points on the scoreboard, because it's a bit of a dilemma where you have to know the probabilities very well. So here's the thing. Now there are 4 tiles that left to fit into the square. 3 barbed wire tiles and 1 starting tile. If Ruben takes these 4 points over here, he will reduce the number of tiles that fit into the square to just 1, to just the starting tile. But if so in theory he wants to keep this square open to have as many options as possible. But if he doesn't take these 4 points, then, as I said before, Chris could draw like a quadruple city tile, for example, and place it over here and make it so that there's 0 tiles that fit into that square. So the question is, how do you get the best probabilities? Are you okay with taking these 4 points, or do you want to save your options but risk the chance of this little guy getting blocked completely?
Well, if you ask me, I would take the 4 points. Because and maybe if he would have that's it's now it's blocked. So the thing is that if he had a road tile, then it would be nice to try to block, because with that city cap you can't really protect your efficiently protect your other meeple. So
exactly. Yes. So the idea, and I think Mosopal makes a double mistake here, actually. So I'm saying this not only because Chris drew the exact type of tile that I said that he could draw, but because the probabilities were such that it was actually very likely to be the case, and especially given that he was a little bit behind, he would have the best equity by checking the 4 points and being okay with 50-50, as opposed to having his meeple blocked for certain. But his troubles do not stop there. Actually, this move, I would say, is really poor because it's very inefficient city building. If you are going to add your city tile to the city, it's better to finish it with Dorito tiles, because there's still a bunch of Dorito tiles remaining. If you're going to do it like this, it actually makes the city quite susceptible to a block, because a couple of a few of the dagger tiles have already gone out, so just getting a few row tiles would make it so that Wally would be able to block this guy completely, or he could still invade this city. He could even do this right now, actually, just to prevent from Mosopol from drawing one of the two remaining vanilla city caps, for example. And with 19 points on the scoreboard, even though they're partially offset by the monasteries, you probably want to have the security of knowing that blue is not going to complete a 12-point city out of a sudden. But Chris goes for a different approach. He knows that he has the long-term meeple advantage because he blocked this little guy for 1 point, and because blue's monastery, which he drew a little bit earlier, has only one available tile that could possibly help Ruben free up the stranded monk. And so he goes for the long-term approach of trying to build a lot of small cities into his field, knowing that he, at the side with more meeples, is more likely to have the control of the field in the end. This is exactly what he does, gets 4 points for the on the scoreboard, and gets his meeple back, a third city into the field, and he's also created a attacking platform. If yellow draws a curve on the next move, then there will be no tiles remaining that fit into this square. So Ruben probably now needs to defend like this, even though it seems slightly awkward, but actually it's a fantastic tile for the player with the blue meeples. And we see another massive mistake, if you ask me. Blue just playing like there's no tomorrow, does not want to protect his meeples, and he does not get punished as Wally does not draw a blocking tile. Wally doesn't even bother taking the 4 points. He wants to get a second farmer. And again, Ruben just doesn't care about that meeple. He does not defend it. Instead, he takes 3 points for the road and makes sure that the two farmers are unified. So this guy at the top was scoring 9 points, and this guy at the bottom was scoring 15 points. Well, instead of the combined 24 points, this is now one big farm, so they're scoring just 15 points together. But this also means that blue, with his meeple disadvantage, will almost be completely locked out of the field, as yellow has already 2 meeples on it. In order to tie, blue would need to, first of all, use his last 2 meeples to try and connect to it. And also he would need to, well, somehow find a good spot to connect to the farm, which is very much easier said than done. So the extra 15 points on the scoreboard and the extra farm is certainly a big problem. And finally, the Hungarian player gets punished for his, I would say, quite reckless playing. He gets his another meeple blocked for 5 points over here. But this third farmer here by Wally, I saw another head nod from you, Arpad. Was that to indicate that, in your view, this farmer is a little bit excessive?
Yes, absolutely. So if you have 2 meeple advantage on a farm, you don't want to extend it, especially if your opponent has is in meeple trouble. And maybe Ruben could have defended spot, but even if he tries to defend, I think there's a single tile left to finish that city. And in my opinion, it would for Ruben it would be a better strategy to just score as much points and leave that field for Wallis, because you have 3 monasteries which compensate for that big field, and if you manage to score some extra points, I think Ruben, even with this meeple disadvantage and without a chance for taking that big farm, Ruben has chances to win this game, in my opinion.
I agree. I think he has chances still. And because, like, after this one, right, let's say this guy joins into the field. Okay, like 15-point field, that's wonderful. But 15-point field controlled with 3 meeples, that's 5 points per meeple. That's really not a lot of points. For example, there's a monastery spot here for 6 points. Oh, what a move here from Wally. So the Brits is employing the Ukrainian technique, starting a 4-point city and making it saying that, hey, Blue, if you want to get any of your meeples back, you will be forced to add points to myself. Okay, I think we now have a bit of a misstep here by Ruben because, as you said, Arpad, the strategy for Blue is to score as many points as possible, and he uses this tile for an indirect defense, which didn't even guarantee him saving this square. So it seems to me like a waste of 2 points for the Hungarian player, simply because I don't know, he just seems to be a bit inconsistent in his game plans. Like, either you save your meeples or you try and score points, and he seems to be want to do a little bit of both. Well, okay, 2-point sacrifice, not such a big deal. Actually, he did get the one and only dagger that was remaining to fit into the square right after Wally blocked that space, but at the very least he found some good use for it of getting a good old-fashioned 8-point city in the field in between. Now he finishes the monastery, does not meeple this a city, which I think makes sense because it was kind of vulnerable, although I would have probably done it, because let's say if Chris Wallace now goes over here, then Blue would still have one tile left in the deck to actually try and score that city, and leaving it open in your opponent's field. I mean, if Chris draws a city cap, of which there's still a couple remaining, there's still the vanilla city cap, and of course the dagger tile that goes into that square, the right-handed dagger tile, of course, then it will be so many points.
Yes,
What do you,
I mean that's a better play because it's I mean there's a single dagger left there, but if Ruben draws it, then that will be huge because he will unite that mini field with the big field, and the I mean he just loses 6 points, Wallace. And yeah, I have to agree with you. I would have meepled that small uh, city. I mean ruin. If you want to say, because it's very very vulnerable. But yeah, he managed to block because Wallace drew the vanilla city cape, and he couldn't take that 9-point move basically. So, but it's not completely lost. So, I mean, it's almost even on the scoreboard. It's 5 points only for Wallace, and Ruben has a couple of extra monastery points still, and that 6-point field is nice also for Ruben. I'm curious what will happen.
Yeah, it seems to me that the entire game could really come down to this dagger, as you say, because like if Ruben gets the dagger, he goes over here, takes a 4-point road, and basically nullifies this 6-point farmer. So that would be a 10-point move for Ruben. But if Chris Wallace of course gets the tile, well, I mean he's just gonna go over here and score 6 points. So that is actually quite easy. He's gonna but it's gonna be 9 points because of a completed city extra to Yellow's field. So that would be 9 points. So in case of the dagger tile, 9 points for Yellow or 10 points for Blue. So it's a 17-point swing. And it seems to me that the entire game is probably going to come down to just that. As well, Chris, just as I was going to get the critical tile graphic,
Yeah.
there's just no suspense whatsoever, as Chris immediately draws this tile, gets his 9 points, and also gets to preserve his 6-point farmer in peace. Well, this has to be unpleasant for Ruben. But this also said, we also said this before. to prevent stuff like this, it was important to meeple this sort of city. And yes, Blue's meeple would have probably ended up stranded with just 2 points, but still, it is better than losing 9 points, like right of the 9 points right of the bat. So
Yes, and also you also have to consider that if he put he would have put that meeple there, Wallace had to waste a move to block it, and because Ruben was the one who put the road there, so yeah.
all right, yes, that's completely true, of course. So yeah. Well, Ruben gets a misstep. I think he wanted to pre-build a 4-point road, whilst there was already a 3-point road available. Like, it's almost as if he's playing with a smaller screen and just does not see this part of the board. It looks like the Hungarian player is simply trying to prevent for the next game. But you know who else is preparing for the next game? This is Siegfried, as the highest-rated Romanian player, has actually lost on table 3 against Nick Basti, even though I see that Wiseman in the chat is predicting that Siegfried would win. But actually, I think it's no surprise at all. So I hopefully will catch a glimpse of table 3 indeed. But to me, Ever is a massive favorite over Siegfried, despite the fact that Siegfried is higher rated and has a higher peak rating. I just know the style of Nick's play is so uncomfortable for the style of Josef's play that I would say that Britain is the favorite on table number 3, if you ask me. And table number 3 happens to be the main chance of Team UK to turn around a match, which is not going that well for them at the moment.
Yeah, and I see another mistake from Ruben. I would have put that monastery on the other 6-point place to unite that small field with the big one. So it wouldn't be a 6-point field, but a 9-point move immediately.
Oh, but there are no shared cities, so it doesn't really reduce the number of field points.
Oh yeah.
But it's still,
right.
it's a 6-point move. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Okay. I think the placement is okay, especially because there was another monastery, and maybe Blue was hoping to get a city cap, and then another monastery, and then bam, back-to-back roads, and something. So it's all technically doable. But let's see what he does right now. Well, he gets something. He gets at least to block Yellow's entry in this. Well, I wouldn't say it's a Brazilian field fight. It's a very Central European field fight with the amount of territory that Central European countries have. So we see Brazilian field fighting when there's 30 points and 5 meeples per side. How do you say? Central European field fight is when there's like 2 cities and 1 city and 6 and 3 points.
Yeah, there are situations when that 3 points can decide the game. Unfortunately, this one is not that kind of game.
Yes, this game has been decided. Not that it's still interesting to see like how players make the most of their situations, and I do believe since they're playing pretty fast, we are going to watch the decider between the two as Chris racks in yet another couple of quick points, and Ruben adds a couple of points to his city. Only 3 tiles remaining left to play, but we get another piece of exciting news as on table 1, Kisemo, I would say, accomplishes a bit of an upset against Ishan Malhotra, leaving his British opponent no chances whatsoever, and Hungary actually is 1 game away from putting away the entire match.
Wow. I'm really surprised, to be honest. Before the match, I was thinking what can happen in this match, and although I'm rooting for Hungary, when I was looking at the lineups, I thought that to myself that this probably will be a 4-1 win for UK, but I hope that maybe somehow Hungary can win it with a 3-2 victory. And yeah, I'm really happy to see that Hungary is up there with 2-0 match points.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if Hungary were to lose, they have already shown a more respectable showing, but they have not lost just yet, as Chris Wallace has equalized the score against Ruben Kocic, and these are headed into the decider. But in order to win this match, Team UK now needs to win 4 games in a row. That's 2 games by Lazy Boar, 1 by Wallace Prime, and 1 by Ever. Quite an uphill climb, but we've seen the UK come back from worse.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Do you want to continue with this one, or maybe do we try to take a look on the 5th table, Lazy Boar and Dalic?
Maybe if these are headed to a break, then yes. But I would really want to take a quick look and just go back to the decider, because I mean they're playing so quickly. Okay, they're typing something. Let's. Okay, they said then. So topping up their cola. I'm not really condoning sugary beverages, but I mean, to each their own. Yes, exactly. Mosipal is on the same page as myself. This video was brought to you by Hot Water, Alexey's beverage of choice. Also the by far healthier option. Okay, I'm rooting. Now I have to root for Ruben in this game.
Okay, that makes 2 of us.
Yes, thanks for the correction, Elias. So technically, Team UK does not have to win 4 games in a row, because Ever can still afford 1 loss on table 3, perhaps. But I don't think it's going to actually happen. I really think that Ever Cubed, it's just has such an inconvenient style of play that I would describe him as a massive favorite against Siegfried here, despite the fact that I would bet my money on Siegfried on almost anybody against almost I would bet my money on Siegfried if he were to play against almost anybody else on Board Game Arena. So they're almost there. Okay, I can't help myself. I wanna like almost not know what's happening in the other games. I wanna really watch this decider. They have already started, almost started. Refresh.
Yeah, and the 5th table second match is just ending, and I just
okay.
I'm
Let's
curious
actually
what
have a
will
look.
be the.
Let's have a look. CS Varga. No,
Yeah, I'm.
Valic.
Yeah, they played the last tile, so it's just counting the point, and
Right. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
Team Hungary won. Hungary has the bronze medal. Hungary has the bronze
Wow.
medal. Hungary gonna have the extra spot at the championship. Wow. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get to witness that moment as the tiles were counted. But what a showing from this team. I did not expect that. So the best that Team UK can do is win on table number 4 and win on table number 3. But that's not going to be enough. Well, congratulations to Hungary. So of course, there's still plenty of Carcassonne to watch, and hopefully that these players will still give it everything. Let's now enjoy the last 30 or so minutes of Team UK in this championship. This is their time to shine and try and show a respectable performance against Hungary. Although it will be a little bit harder than normal, because it is the Hungarian player who has the starting player advantage in this match with his trademark. Blue Meeples also got a very good first tile, meepling a monastery for 2 points, and the all-important space control. Chris Wallace, the first one to pick up the empty city piece, 4 points on the scoreboard, still all 4 of his yellow meeples in hand. Now a road tile, probably going to start a new road somewhere, but where exactly? He chooses to point it upwards and also create a tiny vulnerability next to Blue's monastery, which has been immediately fixed. Now an Dorito tile for the yellow player, leading to the start a new city. And oh, this is such a wonderful position for Hungary. It looks like the perfect opening. Me playing a 2-point road, which is potentially a 4-point road, and also preparing another monastery spot. Of course, we know that the best way to complete a monastery is with another monastery, as Chris continues his city on the left and now slightly restricts the Hungarian city on the right. And Mosopol going quite creative, starting another city at the top. Not something that you seem to be a big fan of, Arpad?
I mean, why do you want to give points to your opponent's road? I mean, you can put it on the other side, extending your road, and it's not like it would make it blockable, the monastery, because in worst case scenario you have a 75% chance to finish that monastery if Wallis decides to put a curved road, so that only a curved monastery, road monastery fits there. But yeah, I mean,
exactly. No, I think definitely this move, it was, especially this other move, kind of shows. I think it's a bit of a timid approach because he didn't want the square to get blocked. But as you said, like the worst case scenario is 75%, and even then, you're not actually that much likely to get blocked. So this move, what it would have done, which you were suggesting, it would have actually even added you an extra point for the event when you draw that monastery, which is very likely to happen soon enough. And I'll tell you more, that the way it is now, when this monastery isn't built up, so this meeple is perfectly safe, but when blue gets another meeple over here, then that new monastery will be a little bit vulnerable, as this road has not been continued just yet. But well, this nothing's coming into the square for a long time, as yellow, after completing his city over here and enjoying his 8-point lead on the scoreboard, is actually pre-completing his other road and trying to connect to blue. So these guys decide to invest 4 meeples into road fights, which actually kind of makes sense because this road, 5 points, was about to get completed and there are still 7 regular curves in the game. So Mosopol investing this meeple for 1 point, hoping to get a curve and connect to this road. And after that, of course, there's some scenarios how exactly all of these roads could get unified, or maybe at some point, if Wally actually now gets this tile, he shouldn't go over here. I think he should go over here, add a point to his monastery, and meeple this road, trying to win this little 7-point road with a 2 versus 1 majority, but the city cap had to be pointed downwards so that you get the control of the monastery. Honestly, it looks like quite a big mistake here for such an experienced player. I mean, what do you make of this move, Arpad, as Mosopol picks off the empty city cap?
Yeah, that was exactly. I was thinking about the same thing. That city cap with the crossroad should have been turned the other way so that he can take advantage of that city cap. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, well, what happens is that Yellow was sort of kind of bailed out of his mistake, drawing a monastery tile to control the city, but instead of meepling the monastery, or at least taking the 2-point road, he jumped to this field, I would say massively prematurely, because like blue had only 1 meeple. He could have at the very least scored 2 points and only then meepled this city. Well, oh, actually, Blue just got his meeple back magically out of the city, which we had off screen for a long time, which I didn't even notice existed. So blue is down 4 points only on the scoreboard, and yellow just added this tile to blue city to prevent blue city from getting completed too soon. Blue can still draw a Dorito tile and a Dorito tile and a Dorito tile and try to build the city upwards, but I think the yellow player's intent will be to get a straight line and go over here and obstruct this shared square between yellow's monastery and blue city, so that at the very least blue does not get to have good points for that city.
Yeah, but to be honest, I didn't really understand that move with the cow tile. So I mean, I understand that he wants to attack somehow, but maybe it would have been better if you put it next to your monastery, and because only a single divider is in game for uh, uh, Ruben to finish it immediately. And if it gets blocked, maybe your monastery gets blocked, but uh, that field has potential to grow on the other side, and maybe Ruben's meeple. I mean, uh, maybe that's not the case. Maybe he can join the other side from the other side also, but I don't really like wasting monasteries without meeple on them. So that's what I can't, especially because you have three meeples on rows which are easily retrievable with a curved.
Yeah,
So
because you could get, so I think like this combination of monasteries left, like you draw pretty much the best tile in Carcassonne twice in a row, and then it's and not take advantage of that. So, and again, all these moves that we're criticizing, they have been played very hasty. Like once he invests a little bit more time, then it's different. So let's see what's happening over here. By the way, I completely agree. I think, of course, this placement of the cow tile was a bit superior, but apparently the Brit is quite concerned about that one remaining splitter tile, which would indeed quite deteriorate yellow's situation. But given that it's only one tile, I would say it wouldn't have been crazy to have just taken those chances. So yellow now instead tries to attack that city differently. Maybe he wants to go over here and attack this square, and then later get some sort of Dorito tile to finish his own monastery, block blue city, and then enjoy himself a meeple advantage in the long term. And then, as I see Wisemez in the chat is saying that Chris likes to farm a lot, that he does. Well, actually, this is how he won his national title back in 2022 in the final against Daniel Cheng. Chris, in the last 4 tiles, equalized a big farm by putting just 2 brand new farmers. So maybe under that impression, Chris now wants to farm as much as possible effectively. And it could still work in this game, because we do criticize a lot like using these monasteries inefficiently, but it's not like it's a game-losing mistake, because it was just a very good tile that he didn't take advantage of. So it's the same as if yellow drew a curve, and yellow still gets the advantage of blue not having drawn these tiles. So this game is, I would say, like absolute, actually still kind of equal, as in fact, and in fact, it is yellow who's still ahead on the scoreboard. Yellow can still get himself this nice 7-point road. Blue, on the other hand, has set up a monastery spot over here. He will be looking forward to getting one of the 2 remaining monasteries with a field, hoping to get some quick 9 points to finish monastery over here, and to maybe hope to complete the new monastery as well, as there are still 2 tiles remaining that left to fit into this square. So that actually was a nice defensive move earlier here by the play with the blue meeples. But in the meantime, Wally here with the horse tile, and not an easy decision. He could go over here simply to try to score 2 quick points, and this is exactly what he does. Chooses not to protect this square, because Mosopol could eventually get a Dorito tile with a road, maybe go over here, and then try to kind of develop a big ruin himself whilst blocking this square and leaving this yellow guy stranded with just 3 points. As in the situation as we discussed in the first game, Arpad, the advantage of blue accomplishing this would probably be marginal, given the fact that most of the tiles which are good for developing your ruins, like the shielded tiles, the big tiles, they have already gone out. So even if the square gets blocked, blue will not necessarily end up with that big of advantage on top.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But unfortunately for Ruben, Wallace drew the second to last monastery. So it will be interesting to see if Ruben manages to draw the last simple monastery, so he can finish his other monastery. And it looks like in this match, Wallace is the player who draws most of the monasteries. So in the first 2 matches, I think Ruben drew 4 out of the 6 monasteries. In this game, Wallace is the player who drew 4 monasteries, but he meepled only one of them.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, of course, for me, a player with a very high monastery average score per monasteries, I do value them a lot, and so do like some other top players such as Vladimir Kovalev, for example. He has been quite outspoken about this on his streams. But you still get the advantage of your opponent not drawing the monastery. So, like if Wally gets the last monastery, well then, okay, he's not going to get any points for them, but at least this blue guy is going to get stranded over here. So I think that's his plan. This move also is somewhat productive. So actually, it inadvertently blocked the 3-point road, and just as Mosopol drew the crossroads, he was unable to take advantage of this. So you could say that this was a 3-point move for Mosopol. And also the idea with this move is, of course, is to get a curvy tile and block this square, blocking yellow's monastery at 8 points, and this city guy, as I don't know how many points there are, maybe like 7, 8, roughly the same, but simply preventing this city from getting completed. It's actually not the move that I would have played. Instead, I would have preferred a move over here, but I like Wally's move as well, simply because it denied the Hungarian player 3 points, and in a close game like this, 3 points could be somewhat significant, as players have gotten some meeples back. Now, the Hungarian player has a bit more firepower to work with. Now, plenty of opportunities with the splitter tile, by the way, which he now got. He could go over here, maybe scoring 4 points and actually threatening the completion of this city. I would prefer this move. You could simply score 4 points over here, or 4 points over here, or do something else with the splitter tile entirely. So which move do you prefer here as the Hungarian player, Arpad?
Yeah, I mean, the most obvious decision is to take 4 points, and there are multiple places to take 4 points. But there was another move which I was started to think about, because although he has an extra meeple, to be honest, if his big city in the right gets blocked, then that would be a big blow for Ruben, and I think he needs that big city to finish if he wants to win this game.
No! What just happened? Okay, look at this. So Ruben decided to kind of continue the city differently. Oh, never mind. I mean, it was an interesting move. I don't think it's bad. I shouldn't have freaked out. I can tell you why I freaked out. I hallucinated that with this tile, Wally could go over here and somehow attack the city, but this is just not the case. Wally is building an 8-point city on his own. I do apologize for the unnecessary panic attack. This is just sometimes how I am. Yeah, Wally's doing just fine. He has 8 points over here. He has 21 extra points on the scoreboard somehow. I have no idea where did he amass such a giant lead from, but now we see farmers in the works. Mosipal drops a farmer. Chris immediately follows suit, and finally the Hungarian does draw the last remaining monastery for a quick 9 points and a possibility to even retrieve a meeple. Also, this guy over here has set up to complete his city. There are still 2 tiles remaining that fit into that square, and if that city does get completed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Only
10,
one.
11, 12. I was counting points. Yeah, there's only 1 tile indeed
Okay.
remaining left
Yeah,
into that square.
sorry.
But the city will be worth 24 points, which would definitely put Mosopal in quite a significant lead here. Actually, I think he's still in the lead technically, because this city here plus the city together, they give more than 12 points to Mosopal, 12 points being the difference on the scoreboard. But if this city doesn't get completed, I would still put my money on Chris rather, because of his extra meeple, which he can put to good use.
Yes, I mean it's crucial to have the meeple advantage because the field is very open. So there's multiple places where you can attack the field, and it's like 12 points right now, but it can grow easily to 15 or 18 points. Yeah, it's just a simple road style. You can take that. Yeah, that small city in the south can join the big farm, and if Ruben draws the last simple Dorito, then yeah, that's an extra city in this big field. So I think that Ruben will need that Dorito to if he wants to win this game, and next, not just that, but he has uh, to have at least a shared big field because it will be maybe it will be a deciding factor in this game.
It seems so, as Wally, I think, drops a wonderful farmer, putting his extra meeple to good use with the idea that this guy is already scoring 3 points for this small city, and it has 2 opportunities to loop into the field through a curve. I really like this pattern because it's also quite hard to block. In order to block this, Mosipal would need to draw back-to-back curve, which is a really big ask, but he draws something which is also quite nice for him. Finishes his monastery, starts a new ruin, and maybe, just maybe, the life of a Hungarian player is certainly not over. Again, still, this tile would give him 24 extra points on the scoreboard, so that's not something to be smirked at. Wallace Prime, with one of the curves, presumably will use it to connect to the field. The question is whether you place it over here or over here. I don't know if you have a preference between these 2 moves, Arpad, or if you do meeple the resulting 5-point road with your last meeple if you are the Brit here.
I mean, I don't know about that because there's a single crossroad left. So I will bet that Ruben will try to block that meeple right now with a 50-50 chance.
Not only will he try to block that, he will go over here and drop a farmer, of course, with the idea to connect to the field through here. I think this is the move. But honestly, I still like Chris's move because he can still get 1 meeple back from elsewhere. And the idea of meepling this 5-point road is not necessarily just getting those 6 points. It's simply preventing your opponent from drawing a curve and Blue getting these 6 points for himself. But Blue! Oh, dear Mosipal, how do you not drop a farmer here? How do you not drop a farmer?
That's a good question. But I mean, yeah, it was a mistake not dropping a farmer because you have an extra, an extra meeple. So
you have an extra meeple, and there's like no more efficient route of entering the field, because there's this spot which had plenty of tiles available. At this point, if Mosopol had the field here, he would have joined the field already, and you also get insurance in the unlikely event that Wally draws the last crossroad tiles. This would put in the blue into the farm automatically. So well, somebody, I don't know, maybe Ruben just knows about the results of the match. Maybe he just knows that Hungary does not have that much left to play for, and he just, I guess, is more relaxed about this game, but he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, you have to play for the win in every match, and at least that's my philosophy.
Yeah, I like that philosophy, but look at this. Now he drops a farmer in a place which is just less lucrative. Yeah, sure, it's an okay farmer, but then if
Yeah.
you're gonna fight for the field, and I think I know why he made the mistake. I have guaranteed that now Ruben knows. Like, he drew this curve and he was like, uh-oh. Because the reason why he made this mistake, I think he thought so much about blocking this road over here, and he probably forgot that he could make a multi-purpose move, that he actually probably forgot, oh wait, I could invade the field with the same move. So he does drop this farm, which I think is good, as there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still 2 curves remaining that fit into this square for a decent chance to enter the field. And even if blue doesn't enter the field, he has a 6-point farm for himself. There's also back-to-back road opportunities to sneak into the farm the other way, or if the worst happens, actually Mosopol could theoretically go over here and drop his last meeple for another farmer right now, or he could do that a little bit later, as this farm will still have some entry points a little bit later.
Yeah, and it's a interesting thing that on the top right side of the map, yeah, Wallace just drew the last road Dorito, which would have been very nice for Ruben. Not only taking 3 points with that road and adding 2 extra points for his ruin, but connecting to that field, because neither of those 2 farmers are connected yet, and it could happen that one of those 2 meeples joins the big farm and the other one does not. So that would help a lot Ruben, but let's see what
agree.
happens.
Yeah, I think Ruben really wants, like, for him, would really want a tile like this, right?
Yeah.
That goes over here, gets 3 points for a road, 1 point for his druid, and then you know, also like Wally could kind of like forget about this farmer at some point.
Yeah.
That's not unheard of. Yeah, and he does use this tile to drop another farmer, so I don't think Mosopol should go over here. Maybe he should. It really depends.
I
What
think
else?
he should. He should, because I'm not sure if there's tiles left to join from the other side, and at least this way you are guaranteeing that this meeple of yours is will join the big farm if Wallace's farmer joins.
Oh, actually,
So
that's true. Yeah, there's nothing that fits into this square, so this square is completely blocked, unfortunately. Although the idea was rather neat, setting up a fields connection with extra value with a 3-point road, just ended up not working out, as yellow drew quite a few of city plus road tiles. Mosopol, however, with the extra meeple, should probably now go over here, and then after yellow connects over here, maybe think of a different fields connection. I actually have an idea how he should connect. So Wally will now probably go over here, and this is a field connection opportunity with just about any tile. Mosopol could go over here, drop a farmer, and try to connect through a curve or the crossroads, but not right now, because he first of all needs to finish the big city. He won the critical tile, and finally it has been resolved. So 24 points go for the city, but also 9 monastery points and a meeple back go to Wally. And Wally, actually, if he so chooses, could now just go ballistic and place a tile over here and drop a farmer, or maybe just over here and drop a farmer as well, yeah, there's still 1 curve remaining, just to show who's boss.
Yeah, I mean the field at this point is worth 21 points, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and Ruben has 8 points advantage, 8 points on the board, and a couple extra points for the ruins, which which are not enough, definitely. So he has to get that connection to the somehow. Yeah. Okay, but
S- so
yes,
wait. Uh-huh.
no, I'm just looking at the board and I'm wondering where could he possibly join the field?
Over
Yeah, and
here.
that
Over
yeah,
here.
so
Just hoping for flipping for the curve. That would be 50-50 for the game.
yeah,
Cause okay, he
yeah,
has two. He has 2.5 minutes to solve an endgame puzzle. Actually, it's pretty
yeah,
easy. The remaining tiles are the quadruple crossroads, unless it has been discarded. I don't think it has. I think we would have noticed that. And the other tile is the curve. If you go over here, really, whoever draws the curve wins. It is as
yeah,
simple as that. But I think one thing that Ruben might be calculating is points, because he either had 8 points on the scoreboard and he hasn't had 2 points in this mini battle. That's 10. -5, he's ahead +5, but he has 7 points over here, so he's ahead
uh,
+12. Well, that's not enough, right? Because the field is 21 points, so he can't really score 9 points with just two tiles, pretty much with just two tiles and two meeples anywhere. He's gonna come close, so he should drop a farmer over here. So come on, like, show that Hungary deserves a bronze. I mean, Hungary deserves the bronze because Hungary already got the bronze, but that would be a way to finish in style and win the coin flip. Like,
yeah,
no matter what happens, I want blue to have the curve tile. First of all, if he goes over here, that would be a reward for finding this move. And if he doesn't find this move, then he needs to get the curve tile. Yes, exactly. He found
but
this. Let's go. Ah!
no. Yeah, I mean it's a 50-50, but at least you made the correct move, the winning move. I mean at least with the 50-50 chance.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Still, respect for Rubin first for solving this little endgame puzzle. And,
yeah,
well, actually, let's see if he now finds the highest scoring move over here. Well, there are the several moves. I mean, he could just meeple a 4-point road, or he could. Oh wait, that's Wallace Prime. Yeah, Wallace Prime should just do
yeah,
pretty much anything.
yeah. I mean if it would be a mistake to join to the field right now because that's a -3 points move.
Yeah. But he's counting what the last tile is, and he basically needs to check. Oh, wait, do I need to join here? Like basically he just trying to check
Yeah.
if this guy can join here as well. But that's why Mosopal should have kept his mouth shut, because he's saying, "Oh, that coin flip." I mean, we know that's a coin flip, but there's no guarantee that the British player under time pressure has calculated the tile correctly. I mean, so
Yes, but even if he didn't count, I mean, at this point, if I guess Ruben calculated the remaining tiles, and he knows that there's no other tile to connect to the field. So whatever happens, yeah, it's uh,
well. It was a good decision not to invade the field. It was a bad
yeah.
decision to donate Mosopal an extra point for the road, because you had to know they had the crossroads in hand. So at the very
Yes, but
least,
yes, but it was an extra 3 points because he took that. Oh no, because it's shared.
yeah, it's
So
shared, so it doesn't really
yeah,
matter. So I think that was like a bit of a late night hallucination. But yeah, even though the match is going to come close, so it is the British player who managed to pull the comeback after losing the field in the second game. So instead, Wally dropped a lot of farmers and British farming did pay off, as he gets a second point. In the meantime, of course, Ever Cubed has won the second game against Siegfried, as I had expected. I'm pretty sure that was an interesting match, but you see, Siegfried this time is not going to give us the gift of a decider.
but
So it will be a slightly shorter match than we expected. But despite losing 2 games in a row, I'm pretty sure that Siegfried is now experiencing quite a lot of positive emotion for his team.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that they are very happy. I mean, if you think about it, they were participating in every world championship, and this is the first time they managed to qualify from the group stage, and uh, not just that they qualified, but they managed to win the bronze match. I mean, that's a beautiful uh, uh, accomplishment from the team.
Yeah. Some interesting kind of theories in the chat. So yeah, I do agree that my policy is to not say everything until the end of the game, especially if I have a chance of winning. But the way I think about my chances of winning, I also include what if my opponent makes a mistake. It's not just if I draw the right tiles, but I try to really, really keep my mouth shut, because yeah, Elias is saying about a game where Nocebo told you GG with like 6 tiles ago, and then you ended up blundering the game away. But this is not an accident. This was entirely psychological. Like, these GGs are completely calculated. And I know another top player who shall remain unnamed, who actually shared with me that they do this kind of stuff on purpose. You know, like in a bad position, you say GG, but actually in your mind you're plotting a comeback plan, and that comeback plan worked in front of my eyes. It was like one of the most beautiful games that I ever witnessed. It's even bookmarked. It has been bookmarked for like 3 years, but I don't want to share who that top player was. But so be wary of what you say in the chat. Everything that you say can and will be used against you.
Yes, I agree. But in this situation, I'm not. I mean, even if Wallis would have made a mistake, and he made a mistake, meaning that he gave an extra point to Ruben, it didn't matter, because yeah, there. It at this point when Ruben wrote in the chat, "Congrats," the game was decided. So whatever move uh, Wallace made, it was a win for. Unless, yeah, the only move he could have played to lose the game is to join Ruben's farmer, but yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Well,
Although you know the match between Nellerheim and the Colombian player.
oh, yes, of course. Otto Ikonen versus Sergio Antalinas in the Mind Sports Olympiad. You'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
watch that. Oh, that was something else. But you know what?
yeah,
You know why this was possible? Because Otto kept his mouth shut throughout the game.
yeah. That's true, but it was a bit different. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was a bit different because it's easier to hallucinate that by joining your meeple to the big field, it's advantageous for you, and it's a completely different thing that to join your opponent's meeple to the field. So yeah,
Well, you could do that in a couple of situations. First of all, in a situation like this, you could kind of do this with style points. But you can also do
yeah,
this. Well, imagine if there was like no yellow farmer over here. And you can think, hey, I have a big field majority, so if I join my opponent's 3-point farm into the field, I will eat up this meeple, and then I will deny my opponent 3 points, only to have miscounted the number of meeples correctly, and actually you join this little guy, and it ends up that it ends up equalizing the big field in the first place. So this is a mistake that I think actually sometimes does happen.
yeah. Rarely, but it happens.
So yeah, okay. Let's see. So Chris Wallace is writing something nice things in the chat, which again he's always like he's always exhibiting very good sportsmanship to his credit. But I would like, as the British player, I would not be I wouldn't probably not be so polite. I'm never rude. I'm never rude out of the game, but I would be quite sad. I'm still sad about losses from years and years ago. I'm still sad about Latvia like being knocked up from the championship in the rounds of 16 against Taiwan, despite the fact that I won my duel against Hotly. What does it matter if we're not going to qualify first? So I'm losing sleep over losses quite a little bit, especially for anyway. But let's see what he writes. It's always bittersweet when you win a duel but lose a match, despite losing your duel misspelled. I'm nervous. I'm sure you're still very happy it was that way around. Yes, it's an interesting feeling. I know that feeling. It sucks because you lost them. Oh no, wait. No, Mosopol is on the winning thing. Now he should be super happy because the team won the match. Not to myself. Oh, don't worry about this. It's just your mistakes are between you, your opponents, and the entire internet, because we happen to watch your table from start to finish. So it's not that big of a deal.
But to be honest, I think Ruben played very well. So it was a 50-50 in the end in the last tile. So
he did. It was a very nice time under time pressure, and it seemed like Yellow had it. Yellow had the advantage, but to reduce an advantage to a complete coin flip, that's just fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, maybe as you pointed out, the biggest mistake for Ruben was not meepling that field when he blocked the ring road for Wallace Point.
Actually, yes, it was a pretty important meeple to go over here. I mean, he sort of fixed this mistake, right? But that was actually, no, I do think that this is what really led to his loss, because even though he did drop another farmer, it was in such a spot which allowed an easy re-invasion because of this city cap over here, and that's why there was a platform for Wally to drop a farmer and re-invade like this in the first place, whereas over here, re-invasion would have been a little bit more difficult. So, I mean,
and also you also have to take into account that he lost tempo like that. So
yes, exactly. Two tempos. Well, yeah, no, one tempo actually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Are we gonna? Did you count on Hungary winning this match? Did you learn the Hungarian anthem?
Yes, I did actually, but the truth is I did this already for a previous match. I was streaming a bunch of Hungary matches, but Hungary just never happened to win on stream until now. So to congratulate Team Hungary, all rise for the national anthem of Hungary. Congratulations to Team Hungary. Fantastic achievement for a fantastic team, excellent growth over the years, and perseverance, and not being discouraged by the endless setbacks. Well, not endless, because they have ended this year. And in addition to earning a bronze medal, Hungary, of course, has earned the right to send an extra player to the in-person World Championship in this October in Herne, Germany. So, Arpad, who do you think could be that extra player? I think it was Siegfried who won the national championship, or they haven't had the championship yet.
I think Siegfried won the national championship, and I remember that they were discussing who would be the second player, but I don't remember the exact details, so I'm not sure. Maybe they will hold another mini tournament to decide, but I don't know. If you look at the performance at this World Championship, I think there are maybe Valic had a great performance. I don't remember every match she played, but I know that she won this 2-0 in this game, and she won also in not versus Japan, but the game before that. So she won some very key victories for Hungary. So I'm curious who will be there. So let's see.
I was also thinking Valic, actually, for a variety of reasons, but mainly due to the WTC performance and also like the progress at all. I was also thinking like maybe Moshapal, but simply because that's a player whom I've known for a very long time. Actually, Ruben has been a guest on one of my oldest streams, so do let me know in the chat if there's somebody who has seen that one stream where Ruben has appeared as a guest from his trailer van with a lot of commitment. I think that was 2022. Well, anyway, and I kind of the way I thought about Team Hungary before is that I thought of Moshapal as the sort of second strong